I'd like to call our regular council meeting to order. We're a little late because of the planning zoning bylaw amendment discussion. Something that council agreed to do and have put into our bylaw is that we will have a traditional land acknowledgement statement. It will be printed at the beginning on every on every council meeting agenda. It will be there. I am going to acknowledge it tonight verbally. The municipality of Central Elgin would like to acknowledge that we gather on the land of the McKee Purchase, the traditional land of the Haudenosaunee, the Attawandaron, and the Mississauga Nation. Everyone is present. We have an addendum. Would you read the motion for the addendum then, Mrs. Wilson?
Motion reads, Madam Mayor, moved by Councillor Fair, seconded by Deputy Mayor Marks, that Council approve the addendum to the agenda under other business, the draft plan approval extension request of 34T CE 1801 in Westdale Homes, Kokomo Beach.
Thank you. Would you call the vote, please?
Councillor Rowe,
Yes.
Councillor Kravitz.
Yes.
Councillor Cook. Councillor Cook. Councillor Fair.
Yes.
Councillor Wynn.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks.
Yes.
And Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Resolution carries.
Thank you. Is there any disclosure, pecuniary interest, or the general nature thereof? Seeing and hearing none. We have correspondence requiring action, and the first one, actually, they have. I'm sorry, would you read the motion for adopting the minutes, please? I apologize.
Motion reads, moved by Councillor Rowe, seconded by Deputy Mayor Marks, that the minutes of the regular meeting of council dated Monday, September the 13th, 2021 be adopted.
Would you call the vote, please?
Councillor Rowe.
Yes.
Councillor Kravitz.
Yes.
Councillor Cook. Councillor Fair.
Yes.
Councillor Wynn.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks.
Yes.
And Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Resolution carries.
I apologize. The first one under action, the Legion have decided now not to hold the Remembrance Day Parade. They're not going to have it. They're going to have a small ceremony at the Cenotaph only. So we do not, that is just, we don't need to deal with that one.
Through you, Madam Mayor, we prepared a motion to receive for information to dispose of it from the agenda.
Okay, would you read the motion then, please?
Madam Mayor, the motion reads, moved by Councillor Fair, seconded by Deputy Mayor Marks, that correspondence received from the last Post Branch 410 Royal Canadian Legion, Port Stanley, dated September 23rd, 21, advising of their cancellation of the Remembrance Day Parade be received as information.
Call the vote, please.
Councillor Rowe.
Yes.
Councillor Kravitz.
Yes.
Councillor Cook. Councillor Fair.
Yes.
Sorry, Councillor Cook. Councillor Wynn.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks.
Yes.
And Mayor Martin.
Yes,
Resolution carries.
thank you. Now, would you read the resolution concerning the Dickens Day Parade?
Motion reads, moved by Councillor Rowe, seconded by Deputy Mayor Marks, that the Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of Central Elgin has no objections to a request from the Port Stanley Lions Club seeking permission to hold the annual Dickens Day Parade on Friday, November the 26th, 2021, beginning at 7 p.m., subject to the following conditions. The organizers of the event providing liability insurance in the amount of $5 million, naming the County of Elgin and the Municipality of Central Elgin as co-insured and held harmless. The final schedule and location of the event being approved by the Director of Infrastructure and Community Services, and approval being obtained from the County of Elgin regarding the temporary closure of Colburn Street and Bruce Street for the parade.
Thank you. Call the vote, please.
Councillor Rowe.
Yes.
Councillor Kravitz.
Yes.
Councillor Cook. Councillor Fair.
Yes.
Councillor Wynn.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks.
Yes.
And Mayor Martin.
Yes,
Resolution carries.
thank you. We have 3 items for information. Does anyone have any questions or comments on any of those? Councillor Wynn?
Just regards to the mural for the Belmont Library. I love the concept of it. I still wish our library was a few feet forward, closer to the road, just to be able to see it, to get the actual impact of it. But it will be nice to see something on that space anyways, though.
Thank you. Would you read the motion, I assume, to accept them?
Motion reads, Madam Mayor, moved by Councillor Fair, seconded by Councillor Rowe, that correspondence items number 1 through number 3 inclusive be received as information and filed.
To call the vote, please?
Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Cravitz?
Yes.
Councillor Cook?
yes,
Councillor Fair?
Yes.
Councillor Wynn?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks?
Yes.
And Mayor Martin.
Yes.
The resolution carries.
I was glad to see that the county are doing the activities of the libraries, et cetera, for the Day of Truth and Reconciliation on the 30th. Okay, Central Elgin Planning Office reports. First one is James and John Crane concerning 45561 Elm Line. Does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, would you read the motion, please?
Motion reads, Madam Mayor, moved by Deputy Mayor Marks, seconded by Councillor Fair, that reports CEP 4121 reapplication to amend Township of Yarmouth bylaw 1998 45561 Elm Line, James and John Crane be received, and the direction be given by council to prepare a site-specific draft amendment to the zoning bylaw to satisfy conditions of a resident surplus to a farming operation severance on lands located at 45561 Elm Line, which may be legally described as Concession 7, North Part Lot 17, Municipality of Central Elgin, and further that a date for a public meeting be established in accordance with Ontario Regulation 54506 as amended.
Thank you. Call the vote, please.
Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Cravitz?
Yes.
yes,
Councillor Fair?
Yes.
Councillor Wynn?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks?
Yes.
And Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Resolution carries.
Thank you. The next one is concerning Harold Hayhoe's request for 6531 Bostwick Road. Does anyone have any questions on this one? Councillor Cravitz.
Just a question to Mr. McClure. With this being taken out of the settlement boundary area in the official plan, if this is approved, what effect does that have on the volume or potential volume of new development in the area?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Cravitz. The lands are already designated for residential development, and there is a zone on the property that allows for future residential use. Ultimately, though, there's holding provisions on the current zone that recognize a residential use as an interim use until such time that a plan of subdivision and servicing a number of different requirements are met. So by providing for a single detached residential dwelling on the property, it wouldn't have necessarily any effect to the ultimate development of those lands because they're already within the settlement area of Union, and they are already do permit a single attached residential dwelling unit as a permitted interim use. The zoning itself specifically is required to deal with the request for an additional residential unit within the single detached dwelling. Right now, I guess as you're aware, the municipality has approved an official plan amendment to allow for additional residential units as of right. And the same thing for general regulations for additional residential units within the 3 bylaws. As part of those general regulations are required to be on full municipal services. This would address that one provision, essentially being that this is recognizing that it can be serviced individually. But again, the ultimate intent in what the zoning had gone through the process in the past is to recognize that the lands are to be developed at some point in the future for residential use. It would just happen that they would have to go through a plan of subdivision process to do that.
Okay, so as far as Central Elgin's capacity for housing development in the county's official plan, this will not change anything?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on this particular one? If not, would you read the motion, Mrs. Wilson?
Motion reads, Madam Mayor, moved by Councillor Rowe, seconded by Deputy Mayor Marks, that report CEP 4221 reapplication to amend Township of Yarmouth bylaw 1998, 6531 Bostwick Road, Harold Hagel be received. And the direction be given by council to prepare a site-specific draft amendment to the zoning bylaw to permit an additional residential dwelling unit within a single detached residential dwelling, which may be legally described as concession or part of Lot 3, Reference Plan 11R 8609, Part Number 1, Municipality of Central Elgin, and further that a date for public meeting be established in accordance with Ontario Regulation 54506 as amended.
Call the vote, please.
Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Cravitz?
Yes.
Councillor Cook?
Yes.
Councillor Fair?
Yes.
Councillor Wynn?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks?
Yes.
And Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Resolution carries.
Thank you. Now the one on urban design guidelines. Do people have any questions or comments, please, on Mr. McClure's report? Councillor Rowe.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to express my appreciation for getting this level of detail for this because it has come up a lot over time. I do agree with the recommendation that is proposed to have the Planning and Building Department initiate a request for proposals for consulting services for the update and consolidation of a new comprehensive zoning bylaw for the entire municipality. My only question is, why is it after the official plan approval? I just wondered what the justification for that was.
Mr. McClure, do you wish to answer that?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to Council Rowe. The zoning bylaw implements the policy direction of the official plan. So until such time that the official plan is approved or adopted by the municipality and then ultimately approved by the County of Elgin, it was staff's position that it's a little premature at this time to advance with requests for proposals when we don't know the extent of what would be required to update the zoning bylaws at this time. And again, whether or not what the time frame is for approvals by the county and that as well, it kind of makes it a little premature at this time.
I think it's very important that we get those zoning bylaw amendments done. They've been hanging over us for a long time because I thought they were going to be done after the first official plan was approved. So I would agree with Councillor Rowe. It has to be in this order, but we need to get moving on it, which I know we're moving on the official plan. We need to get the zoning bylaw one, the amalgamation of the 3 zoning bylaws done as soon after the official plan adoption as we can. Any other questions or comments on this one? Not, would you read the motion, please?
Motion reads, Madam Mayor, moved by Deputy Mayor Marks, seconded by Councillor Fair, that report CEP 4421 re-urban design guidelines be received for information.
Call the vote, please.
Councillor Rowe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Received for information, and then is the recommendation to proceed. I'm not sure what that means.
Mr. Shipway?
Through you, Madam Mayor, at this time, it's just an informational report. The RFP for the zoning bylaw consolidation hasn't been budgeted for in this year's budget. It will come forward in the future budgets, and that would be included in the same at that point, just building on the procedural steps that Mr. McClure mentioned.
So I would still feel better if it said the recommendation will be acted upon at a future date or something like that. But I don't know if that's reasonable.
To you, Madam Mayor, whatever council puts forward, just based on the procedure, that's why staff just presented it for information at this time.
The will of the rest of you? Councillor Fair, you?
Yes, I'd like to see some movement or language towards starting the process or saying it will be implemented.
Once the official plan is approved.
Yes.
If you, Madam Mayor, may I recommend receipt for information and that urban design guidelines be referred to 2022 budget deliberations?
Okay.
Deputy Mayor Marks.
I'm fine with that, but I think it's obvious that it's implied that why would it be here if we're not going to move along? So, but I'm fine with that amendment.
Who are the mover and seconder?
For you to rest of council, Deputy Mayor Marks is the mover and Councillor Fair is the seconder. If you're agreeing with that amendment, I've added, and that urban design guidelines be referred to the 2022 budget deliberations.
I'm fine with that.
Are you okay with that, Mr. Councillor Fair?
Yes, I'm okay with that because that does definitely imply action.
Thank you. Would you call the vote then, please?
Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Kravitz,
Yes.
Councillor Cook?
Yes.
Councillor Fair?
Yes.
Councillor Wynn?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks?
Yes,
And Mayor Martin.
Yes,
Resolution carries.
thank you. Now we're looking at the Port Stanley Harbor Secondary Plan, minor revisions to the Dominion of Canada property. Does anyone have any questions? Councillor Rowe.
I can appreciate the need, so I have no issue there. It was just that bullet point number 3 originally did say outdoor storage of goods and materials should not be permitted within the harbor community facilities designation. So I still feel that that's a valid comment, but it has been struck out completely. So not 100% sure why it needs to be.
Any comments from staff, please? Mr. McClure?
I'm sorry, I was just looking up the policy itself. I'd have to look into the specifics. I believe what was shown are the additions or changes. There are still a number of bullets that are within the official plan designation in that section that still exist. This, what is being proposed will not be the sole bullet points. It was just the additions or changes that were being made to the one specific section. So I don't have the one provision that Councillor Rowe was referring to, but if that's something that was inadvertently taken out, that we could definitely have it addressed as part of the public meeting process that we're recommending to undertake to deal with this change.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, would you call the vote, please? Or I'm sorry, read the motion.
Motion reads, Madam Mayor, moved by Deputy Mayor Marks, seconded by Councillor Fair, that report CP 4521, report Stanley Harbor Secondary Plan, minor revisions to address Dominion of Canada property be received, and the direction be given by council to prepare a site-specific policy revisions to address the Dominion of Canada property on Carla Road within the Port Stanley Harbor Secondary Plan, and further that a date for public meeting be established in accordance with Ontario Regulation 546 as amended.
Thank you. Call the vote, please.
Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Kravitz,
Yes.
Councillor Cook?
Yes.
Councillor Fair?
Yes.
Councillor Wynn?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks?
Yes.
And Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Carries.
And now the next one is the for 250 Colburn Street. Do we have any questions concerning that one? Seeing none, would you read the motion, please? I'm sorry, Councillor Kravitz, go ahead.
I'm just in the report, I'm just curious, the recommendation for the public meeting, is that something that we're voting on to have the public meeting on this, or the issues with the lack of information by the applicant? I don't know if Kevin, is that? But
Go ahead, Mr. McClure.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor, through you to Councillor Kravitz. As part of the recommendations, it was to hold a public meeting. The staff has raised concerns with what's being proposed and some outstanding information to justify what's being proposed, and then the overall, I guess, density and overdevelopment of the site. But as part of the Planning Act, there is the opportunity for the applicant an opportunity to speak to the application. So this would be following forward with the legislative requirements of the Planning Act when dealing with proposals for those individuals that are in favor or opposed to the application, that right to present before council.
Okay, so rather than asking for more information at this point, we're going to proceed with the public meeting and allow the people to propose then their ideas.
Yeah, and it would also afford the applicant opportunity in advance of the public meeting to provide additional information. Should they feel that additional information is required. As part of the application process, staff had indicated a certain number of applications would be required. We had received written correspondence from the applicant's agent that they were satisfied that the information that was provided was sufficient to move forward. So we've moved forward based on that correspondence. There was acknowledgement of the inability to get some information from the ministry with respect to water lots. I'm not too sure where they currently stand on that, but that would be something that they would be able to address as part of a public meeting. Again, it's up to council's discretion to hold a public meeting at this time or provide, I guess, a longer time frame. But ultimately, the application has been received, and there's certain legislative timeframes for the municipality to address or make decisions on applications once they've been received by council. So,
okay, I just didn't want to have a public meeting when all the information is available, but we'll proceed as the legislation. Thank you.
Any other questions on this? If not, Mrs. Wilson, would you read the motion, please?
Motion reads, Madam Mayor, moved by Councillor Fair, seconded by Councillor Rowe, that report CEP 4621, reapplication to amend the Village of Port Stanley bylaw 1507-250 Colburn Street, Jeff and Crystal Rhea be received, and the direction be given by council to prepare site-specific draft amendments to the Village of Port Stanley zoning bylaw for the proposed residential, commercial, and marina use on lands located at 250 Colburn Street, which may be legally described as Plan 49, lots 13 and 14, west side of Colburn Street, lots 13 and 14, east side of Bostwick Street, geographic Village of Port Stanley, now Municipality of Central Elgin, and further that a date for the meeting be established in accordance with Ontario Regulation 54506 as amended.
Would you call the vote, please?
Councillor Rowe,
Yes.
Councillor Krebitz,
Yes.
Councillor Cook,
yes,
Councillor Fair,
Yes.
Councillor Wynn,
Yes,
Deputy Mayor Marks,
Yes.
and Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Resolution carries.
Thank you. Now to the Chief Administrative Officer report on our vaccine verification policy. Does anyone have any questions? This is the identical policy that the county have adopted recently, which to me makes perfect sense. And I think it's important that with us being in the same building that we're having the same requirements. Councillor Wynn.
I guess just to say the one thing is I know there's a lot of discussion going on with this and our rights with following with this, but I mean, personally, I feel we're in the middle of a health crisis. And when you look at other provinces where their health system is at a standstill, as much as this really impacts our life, it's not as much as it was a year ago. We're making really great strides, but we still need to continue doing what we're doing in order to eliminate the impact on our health system. So I've had a lot of people contact me with regard to policy and not essentially our employee one. But just on a whole, and again, like I understand everybody feels their rights are being impacted at this time, but you know, I just can't help but think of the rights of the people who have health issues other than COVID, who have been impacted greatly over the last 20 whatever months that we've been in this. And, you know, we've come so far. So if we can just keep doing this, I can see us, you know, finally getting somewhere. So I'm glad to see we've got something in place, and I hope we can just accept that this is what we need to do to get out the other end and get our lives back. So.
Just for your information, the hospital has had this exact policy for quite a while now, and they're actually considering, because they still don't have 100% vaccination, moving to mandatory vaccination or termination.
Yeah, and they're not alone. Long-term care homes are
Same thing
too. But again, it's all in mind of keeping our most vulnerable safest. So
yes,
I can't argue with that.
No other comments? Would you read the motion, Mrs. Wilson?
Motion reads, Madam Mayor, moved by Councillor Rowe, seconded by Deputy Mayor Marks, that report CO 4921 re-COVID-19 vaccine verification policy be received for information, and that the Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of Central Ogden approve the Municipality of Central Ogden COVID-19 vaccine verification policy attached hereto as Appendix B.
Would you call the vote, please?
Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Cravitz?
Yes.
Councillor Cook? Councillor Cook? Councillor Fair?
Yes.
Councillor Wynn?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks?
Yes.
And Mayor Martin?
Yes,
Resolution carries.
thank you. Director of Infrastructure and Community Service, the pad and drain update. Any questions anyone has on that? Seeing no questions, would you read the motion, please?
Motion reads, Madam Mayor, moved by Deputy Mayor Marks, seconded by Councillor Fair, that report ICS 3221 repad and drain update be received, and that council appoint Brandon Widner, Speed Associates Limited, to prepare a report under Section 4 in addition to Section 78 of the Ontario Drainage Act for the pad and drain.
Thank you. Would you call the vote, please?
Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Cravitz?
Yes.
Councillor Cook? Councillor Fair?
Yes.
Councillor Wynn?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks?
Yes.
And Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Resolution carries.
Thank you. And we don't have any reports from the next three, so we're at bylaws. Would you, does anyone have any concern with any specific bylaw there? Not, would you read the motion?
Motion reads, Madam Mayor, moved by Councillor Rowe, seconded by Councillor Fair, that bylaws 2633, 2639, and 2640 be read a first and a second time.
Call the vote?
Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Cravitz?
Yes.
Councillor Cook?
She's not.
Looks like she's,
Councillor Fair?
Yes.
Councillor Wynn?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks?
Yes.
And Mayor Martin?
yes.
Resolution carries.
Half throttle.
Go ahead with the second motion on that.
Motion reads, moved by Councillor Rowe, seconded by Deputy Mayor Marks, that bylaws 2633, 2639, and 2640 be read a third time and finally passed.
Call the vote, please.
Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Cravitz?
Yes.
Councillor Fair?
Yes.
Councillor Wynn?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks?
Yes.
And Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Resolution carries.
Thank you. Now, the public notice is, there's no action on that. It's just notice to the public that we have declared those lands surplus now and that we will be moving toward disposing of them or selling them. Mr. Perrin, has anything been done yet? I assume someone's going to do the photograph of the fire hall doors before we sell it. Yes,
Madam Mayor, staff are arranging to have the doors photographed, and we'll be reporting back to council for options for you to consider at a future council.
thank you. That was at a request from, instead of trying to preserve the doors, that we create a sign that's Heritage Port. We're in favor of that. So that's why I'm just making sure before we dispose of the building that we do something. Okay, the other business, draft plan approval extension, and this is just because of COVID. They haven't been able to move as fast as they could, and they would just like an extension to their draft plan. So would you read the motion, please?
Motion reads, Madam Mayor, moved by Councillor Fair, seconded by Councillor Rowe, whereas the draft plan of subdivision approval for subdivision 34T CE 1801 Wasdale Homes, Kokomo Beach Club expires on November the 27th of 2021. And whereas the applicant has requested a further 2-year extension to the draft plan of subdivision approval to allow for the final phase of the development to proceed into 2022. Now therefore be it resolved that the council of the municipality of Central Elgin has no objection to a further 2-year extension to the draft plan approval of subdivision 34T CE 1801 Kokomo Beach Club expiring on November the 27th of 2022. Further, that staff be directed to advise the council as the approval comes forward.
Thank you. Call the vote, please.
Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Craig?
Yes.
Councillor Fair?
Yes.
Councillor Wynn?
Yes,
Deputy Mayor Marks?
Yes.
And Mayor Martin?
Yes,
The resolution carries.
thank you. Does anyone else have any other new business? Councillor,
I just wanted to give a shout out to our staff again. After that last significant wind event we had, and we do know now that it was a wind event and it wasn't a tornado. Don't mess with Mother Nature. Our staff has, I've heard back from many residents how thankful they were at staff continuing to go out. People had all kinds of debris out at the front of their properties, and staff were very prompt at taking it down, getting out to assess trees that were needing to come down. So again, just, I know it was a lot of work. Just from while the event was going on till a week afterwards, and staff being on top of it. So on behalf of many thankful residents, thank you.
yes, I also received some emails saying thank you, that they were so pleased with how quickly the staff responded and how well they did.
Yeah.
So it was excellent. Thank you. And we do thank staff for that. I forwarded that thank you to Mr. Hare so that he could thank the crew. Okay, we don't have any closed sessions, so just the bylaw to confirm proceedings.
Motion reads, Madam Mayor, moved by Councillor Fair, seconded by Deputy Mayor Marks, that bylaw 2641 be read a first and a second time.
Call the vote.
Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Kravitz,
Yes.
Councillor Fair?
Yes.
Councillor Wynn?
Yes.
Mayor Marks?
Yes.
And Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Resolution carries.
The final reading of the bylaw.
Last motion on that bylaw, moved by Councillor Rowe, seconded by Councillor Fair, that bylaw 2641 be read a third time and finally passed.
Call the vote.
Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Kravitz,
Yes.
Councillor Fair?
Yes.
Councillor Wynn?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks?
Yes.
Mayor Martin?
Yes,
Resolution carries.
thank you. And don't forget, we have the special meeting on our official plan on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. That will be in this chambers, I'm assuming.
Oh, yes, I was wondering.
Through you, Madam Mayor, council is welcome to attend in person or virtually, whatever is convenient for them.
Thank you. Councillor,
That I work until 1 o'clock that day, and I am trying to get out of there earlier. So it's okay if I'm like sliding in here a few minutes late for it, just in case I can't.
certainly.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Come for lunch.
Just so everyone knows, I'm going virtual because I'm out in Calgary.
We understand that, Councillor Fair. Thank you. Okay, final motion to adjourn.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Marks, seconded by Councillor Fair, council dated Monday, September 27th, 2021. Adjourned at 7:54 p.m. And the next regular meeting of council is scheduled for Tuesday, October 12th, 2021. At 7 p.m.
All the vote, please.
Councillor Rowe,
Yes.
Councillor Kravitz,
Yes.
Councillor Fair,
Yes.
Councillor Wynn,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks,
Yes.
and Mayor Martin.